Prologue. The Legend Returns. In the early 1990s, led by Gordon Murray, the McLaren team designed a machine that would shake the automotive world to its core, the McLaren F1. It wasn't just about speed. They aimed to create a masterpiece of engineering. With its carbon fiber monocoque chassis, gold-lined engine bay, and center-positioned driver's seat, the F1 was more than a supercar. It was a work of art. Today, it remains a legend. But there's an untold story about it, a tale of an extreme speed enthusiast and his incredible adventure with this machine. The man in search of a legend. Jack Reynolds, a car collector living in London, wasn't just someone who bought expensive cars. He wanted to feel the soul of speed. The McLaren F1 was his childhood dream, but with only 106 units ever produced, most were locked away in collections. However, Jack discovered a clue about an abandoned F1, hidden away in a forgotten garage. In an auction listing, he found a vehicle registered to McLaren, but the details were kept secret. Its location, a rural area in Japan. Jack wasted no time. The moment he landed, he made his way to a small town where he was to meet Tetsuo Nakamura, an old car collector. Nakamura had once owned millions of dollars worth of cars, but over time, he had let most of them go. However, he could never part with his McLaren F1. "I'll wait until the right person comes along," he had once said. As Jack stood before a dust-covered garage, the doors slowly creaked open. Inside, beneath a yellowed cover, the carbon fiber body of a legend gleamed faintly. As Jack pulled off the sheet, he saw the 1990s icon in all its faded glory. The paint was dull, the tires were aged, but its spirit remained untouched. Nakamura began to recount the car's history. The McLaren F1 had been brought to Japan years ago, and had even seen some time on racetracks. But over time, it had been forgotten, left untouched for years. Even the car's story sounded like a legend. Before moving the F1, Jack meticulously examined every detail. The gold-lined engine bay was intact. The carbon fiber body was flawless, though some parts had rusted from years of inactivity. The sleeping beast Jack gained Nakamura's trust and purchased the car. But the real challenge had just begun. The engine needed to be revived, and the car had to be restored to its former glory. It housed a 6.1-liter V12 engine built by BMW, but years of disuse had left it in dire need of maintenance. The engine oil had solidified, the fuel system was clogged, and the brakes had rusted. Jack arranged for a specialized logistics team to carefully transport the car back to England. Upon returning, he contacted the McLaren Special Operations team, the last true masters who understood the F1's soul. After weeks of painstaking work, the engine roared back to life. The sound that erupted from the exhaust was like a lion's roar. During testing, the car still displayed incredible potential. Jack recorded every second of the revival. The beast that had slept for years was finally awake again. The true definition of speed. Owning the car wasn't enough. Jack wanted to feel its true essence. So, he took it to a famous racetrack in Italy, determined to push it to its limits. Working alongside McLaren's engineers, he made aerodynamic adjustments and fitted new tires. When everything was ready, he took to the track. By the end of the day, the F1 proved that it was still a monster. It reached 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds and hit a top speed of 240 miles per hour. Even modern supercars struggled to match its raw mechanical brilliance. With his hands gripping the wheel, Jack held his breath as he floored the pedal. The V12 engine's scream echoed through the circuit's walls. At 217 miles per hour, time seemed to slow down. In that moment, Jack realized that even with modern hypercars, the F1 remained unmatched. It was pure engineering, no electronic aids, just raw power and precision. After completing his final lap, Jack pulled into the pit lane, his legs trembling as he stepped out. This wasn't just a drive, it was a meeting with history. The McLaren F1 was truly a timeless legend. After this experience, Jack decided he would never sell the car. It was no longer just a collector's item, it was a living legend. Among the ranks of modern hypercars, his F1 stood as a reminder. Perfection is not created through technology alone, but through passion. Conclusion: a legend never dies. Today, the McLaren F1 remains one of the most treasured vehicles among collectors. Jack's discovery earned him more than just a car. It granted him a legacy. He now owned one of the rarest and most extraordinary cars in the world. And some legends never die.